A very good morning to all. My name is Raye. I'm the Deputy Head for Outreach and Industry for the Department of Biomedical Engineering. Before I start my sharing, I would like to have you guys take a look at our corporate video.
Biomedical engineering is a multidisciplinary field where the principles of design, engineering, biology, and medicine converge. Here, in these labs at NUS, our faculty and students apply cutting-edge scientific research and design engineering to develop world-leading technologies and innovations that advance medical care.
The NUS Biomedical Engineering program provides a unique, integrated learning experience that synergizes our common curriculum of design and engineering with biomedical and clinical technologies and challenges in the healthcare sector. As a student, you will learn from and work alongside professors from the College of Design and Engineering, doctors and clinical teams at the National University Hospital, and with communities with special needs to develop compelling and innovative healthcare solutions.
NUS BME promotes a holistic approach throughout the 4-year-long program. Students can expect a world-class education that integrates engineering, medicine, and biological sciences, while having the flexibility in choosing their own path as a biomedical engineer and pursuing their interests and passions.
As a BME student, you enjoy a good balance of structure and autonomy. In the first 2 years, students are given solid theoretical foundations, whilst in the 3rd and 4th year, you have the chance to explore your interests and try your hand in more hands-on practical project-based technical electives. For my own project, I'm collaborating with the Singapore Sport Institute to develop a training system for our national footballers.
In the Biomedical Engineering department, you will develop key industry-relevant skill sets, covering from biodesign, germ technology, nanomedicine to biosensors, biorobotics, and AI. One major highlight is the medical device design course, where you will learn about biodesign process and how to design and make your first medical device.
NUS BME builds engineers who can contribute back to society, equipping them with a strong foundation suitable for a wide range of careers. This includes research engineers, hospital BME engineers, regulatory specialists, clinical trials coordinators, medtech entrepreneurs, as well as doctor engineers through the engineering and medicine track with Duke NUS Medical School.
At NUS BME, you'll see the passion and commitment of our staff and students to advance healthcare technologies. Faced with the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, our department has stepped up to meet the needs for rapid detection kits and optimal combination therapy for patients infected with the virus. Join us and be a part of our quest for the betterment of global healthcare for all.
So biomedical engineering is a very unique field that basically focuses on developing technologies to solve clinical problems in over 30 medical specialties. And that can range from developing diagnostic devices for infectious disease, developing endoscopic systems that can track presence of cancer, as well as developing new kinds of tissue engineering implants that can be used in orthopedic situations, or robotic devices that can assist with rehabilitation. And in NUS BME at E7, this is our state-of-the-art home, and also a world-leading hub for the development of affordable and accessible medical technology. And in our reimagined curriculum, we are actually more focused now on AI, digital health, as well as robotics and empathetic engineering. And of course, over the years, we have seen a tremendous increase in our student intake, looking at very huge demand in biomedical engineers coming up from the universities. And from here, we see almost a double in our intakes since 2013. And NUS BME is very well connected to the 3 healthcare clusters. And we are connected to Duke NUS, where our students further their medical doctorate degree. And we also have our own Be Good initiative that looks at community engagement. And we are also connected to the major research institutes like Wisdom, N.1, iHealthTech, and also the Advanced Robotics Center. The whole department is very well linked to over 100 BME-related companies. We are also connected to the Queenstown, which is designated as the health district in Singapore. And if you look at the big picture of our curriculum, okay, at the start we want to develop basic skills in design thinking, programming, mechanical design, electronics in our students. And subsequently, they look into biomedical related core modules, okay, in biodesign, biosignals, as well as biomaterials and mechanics. And then in their later years, or more senior years, they basically look into more specialized modules like tissue engineering, synthetic biology, robotics, germ technology. But we are also looking at developing soft skills in our students, such as leadership, communications, teamwork, ethics, and of course, project management. If I were to take one of our electives as an example, germ technology, our students basically form teams, okay, to interact with community partners, okay, where they meet the elderly residents in the daycare center, private homes, or even in nursing homes. And then they collect a list of technical specifications, and then they start to ideate and they prototype. And then they bring the prototype to the residents and then test out how well the prototype actually works for the residents. And this, in turn, is part of a bigger initiative called the Be Good, BME for Good, strategic initiative to actually build empathetic engineers as well as leaders through community-driven learning in our BME students. Okay. Two things that we want to develop: technical competence as well as empathy in our students in working with community stakeholders. And you can see here we have a huge database of community partners that our students are working with, and they have created a huge library of different solutions that they co-created with the beneficiaries. And Be Good is not just in Singapore. We have started to move global. Right? Our students have, for the first time, moved into Timor-Leste, right, where they assist the healthcare institutions there with fixing medical equipment and providing training for healthcare workers. And this is also connected to a bigger initiative at the national level called the Health District. And we start to see a lot of our NUS BME technologies being implemented into the Health District to improve the quality of care for the residents. And last year, we actually had a coverage on the Health District, and that is featured as the Innovating for the Future. And this is a coverage where we see a lot of NUS BME technologies, okay, actually going into the community, benefiting the care for the residents. And our students, okay, in this germ technology module, okay, no longer present their final project work in the seminar rooms, okay, but now they are going out of the campus to interact with the community, to present their final presentation to the residents, getting real-world Q&A from elderly who needed this kind of technology. And we also have alliances with various stakeholders. For instance, Huawei, we have a co-design week, okay, where we aim to develop strategies to enhance elderly care. And we also have the NUS overseas colleges with medtech startups, where our students gain valuable medtechpreneur experience during their NOC experience. All right, and then we also have the MOU with SingHealth, okay, with a purpose to develop curriculum relevant to hospital operations. We also have a good basket of specializations in robotics, in tissue engineering, in biomedical materials, as well as community healthcare and technology. In fact, 1 in 4 students in the BME program actually have a specialization, and 1 in 8 students actually specialize in robotics. And where the students aim to acquire robotics relevant capabilities necessary for developing a range of medical robots that can perform in rehab, surgical or assistive use cases. And students also get to work on projects partnered with robotics startup. And here we have one of our former students who, from their robotics project, continue to found his own startup, right? And now the startup has developed or acquired, some regulatory approvals, and now is already selling in over 27 countries and used in over 50 hospitals globally. So let's take a look at this video from our former student.
Helping people live a better life is at the core of this Singapore-based invention. It's all about giving people an extra hand.
Due to aging population, we have more and more people with stroke causing physical damage. By using soft robotic technologies, we can make something new that's very portable and easy to use. This is called Assoc glove, which is a soft robotic hand glove for people with neurological disorders and eventually may have hand impairments. We have selected one specific material, a very light fabric. We also have a control box to provide the power and the air into the glove. And together with our software, we are able to provide hand rehabilitation therapy. So far, we have been trying our device on hundreds of patients in different continents. So we have seen very positive outcomes from very mild patients all the way to serious stroke patients.
Yeah, so that is the Exoglove hand rehab system from Rosesso. And of course, more products are in the pipeline, and they even have their own occupational therapy center that make use of this advanced robotic systems to help accelerate recovery of patients with motor impairment. And of course, the whole BME program can be transited into almost limitless potential career options, right? Some of the key options includes being a healthcare data analyst or robotic specialist or medtech entrepreneur or even a hospital engineer, depending on how you want to readjust your entire module structures, okay, or modules that you want to take in order to achieve that career options that you want. And we do see students going into a variety of companies ranging from healthcare and research to medtech, biotech, pharma, or even the government agencies. Here are some examples of our students or alumni now working in healthcare, right? We have, for instance, Gabriel, Zhenting, now senior engineers in the hospitals locally. We also have Lin being a manufacturing engineer at one of the major MNC, Illumina, right? We have Joan, now an R&D engineer in spectromatics. Okay, we also have more senior alumni who has went on to become experts in medtech. Basically, working in Medtronic, one of the biggest MNCs, medtech companies. Okay, we have students moving into being an expert and consultant in IP, regulatory affairs, or even generating venture capital to basically support medtech startups. We have a number of students each year that actually went into Duke NUS to further their medical doctorate degree, right? So here we have students who managed to get into Duke NUS as a first-year medical student, right? And some of the students or alumni has went on to become a medical officer and now becoming a medical family medicine resident and to full-fledged orthopedic surgeons and neurosurgeons. And these are really doctor engineers who have the engineering capabilities as well as the ability to understand, or to appreciate clinical problems. And of course, we do have a good batch of entrepreneurs. For instance, Jeffrey, one of our first batch BME alumni, is now the CEO and co-founder of PetSnap, which is a unicorn startup that focus on BME-related IP intelligence. Okay, we also have other students that are also working in different robotics and diagnostic startups. And of course, we have a lot of startups that has been generated from our student work and then have gone into the real world, right? And that includes diagnostics, endoscopic technologies, to robotics, as well as ophthalmology technologies. And the department sees the importance of the connections between the student, industry, and alumni, right? So we want to organize many events that can, strengthen this connection, and that range from webinars to seminars to industry visits, conferences to career day. And as you can see, these are the whole list of companies that we have worked with. And our events since COVID has connected over 1,800 students with over 50 different BME-related companies and organizations in Singapore. And this is our NUS BME Social. I will encourage our prospective students to join our Ask About BME program so that you can, ask about the curriculum, ask about the application, ask about student life as well, right? And of course, do take a look at our BME for Good website and do follow our student BME Club Instagram as well as the NUS MedTech Instagram. And this is our BME website. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Hi, Hi, I'm Agatha Faye from Biomedical Engineering. I'm in my current second year and as well as the current BME Club President. So previously, I was also from Temasek Polytechnic, BME as well, and during this, I was able to attend an internship at the Cardiovascular Research Institute at MD6, also here in NUS, where I was able to meet different people from various backgrounds such as regulatory affairs officers, clinicians, researchers, and students as well. During this, we were in the process of developing a bioprosthetic implant, which then piqued my interest, which what I currently hope to go into is tissue engineering and regenerative medicine, piqued by my internship and the research that we did during then. So why NUS BME? Well, I think NUS BME truly has a strong emphasis on medical applications of engineering principles. So for example, in every BME module that I've taken so far, we've been able to apply engineering principles into different concepts of medicine and healthcare innovations. So for example, in the picture below, we have a heart rate monitor that I was a part of making during a module. And here we learned to integrate different electrical components with the knowledge and skills that we learned from the lectures. And in the picture above, which features an organoid, is in a module that I'm also currently taking. And here we learn different ways how organoids can be made and their significance to the healthcare industry and in medicine as well. So apart from that, BME also offers various specializations for its students. So particularly, we have tissue engineering, which is what I'm taking right now, biomedical materials, and robotics as well. So it definitely has different things for different people with different interests. But apart from that, there are students from very diverse background in NUS BME. So you get to learn from different people and as well as the knowledge and experiences that NUS BME is able to offer students within the classroom and apart from that and outside as well. So here are also some student life activities that other BME students are engaged in. Firstly, we have the Korean Culture Interest Group, and this picture features a dance team preparing for their 10th annual performance this year. And we also have the Innovation and Design program, which is a program that aims to train students with entrepreneurial mindsets. And this is something that you can take as a minor or a second major in NUS. And lastly, we have residential life. And personally, I'm not involved in any halls or residences, but I have heard great things from peers based on their experiences and their involvements in the different activities within their residences. So BME is a part of the College of Design and Engineering, and in CDE we have to take different modules that are part of the CDE curriculum. And as someone who have taken this module, I think that they do really good foundations on what it takes to be an engineer, such as the knowledge and the skills, and as well as meeting different people from different faculties, not just from BME. So within the entire CDE, all engineering students have to take these modules. And apart from just these modules, we also have CDE camps, which you might be going for as a freshman, as well as any at the beginning of every academic year. And apart from that, there are also CDE Day and exam welfare pack distribution hosted by CDE. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm the current president of BME Club, but previously I was the welfare project director. So as you would think, there's a kind of a big jump from the welfare project director of a subcommittee and overseeing the entire club. Well, I do believe in that as well, but I think that it has really helped being able to work with different excos, so the group that I'm with, and they are overseeing the more hands-on involvement of the different subcommittees. So these involvements also include the alumni sharing and industry dinner planning, which are some things that we invite BME students to attend so that they will be able to learn more about the career paths that they can take and get advice from industry professionals as well as their seniors on some things that they can probably work on in the future and what are some things that they can work on now as students. And apart from that, we also have other activities that are not within the club, such as hosting an experience program for overseas students, international students. So to conclude, why should you join NUS BME? Well, as you can see displayed on the screen, there are different career paths that you can take and they vary widely. So it really differs from interest to interest. And I do believe that BME is one of the few engineering fields where you can make a direct impact through the healthcare or through the innovations that you make. So what are you waiting for? Choose NUS BME, where biomedical engineers are nurtured today to empower the healthcare innovators of tomorrow. And finally, we have some links of the BME social media and as well as the Telegram group chat where you can address your queries. And if you'd like to learn more, please scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you.
Greetings, my name is Saif Khan and I'm the head of NUS Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering. Today I'd like to share with you some of the excitement in the discipline of chemical engineering and also share with you how chemical engineers are helping solve some of the major challenges facing the world today. Now, first let's look around us, right? Pretty much everything that we use in our daily lives is a product that is the result of a chemical engineering process. We chemical engineers deal with the chemical and physical transformation of a handful of materials from nature into thousands of value-added molecules in scalable, sustainable, and economical ways. We meet societal needs and create products that range in diversity for everything from fuels to medicines, to cosmetics, to consumer products, to food products, and even semiconductors. Now, besides meeting societal needs, we chemical engineers are also facing the same shared crises that the world is facing today. So the world is really very interconnected today. And there are global scale challenges facing us. There are challenges obviously related to climate change. And along with it is the challenge of the availability of greener sources of energy to power civilization. As our population grows, we face increasing challenges related to how to provide clean, drinkable water to that growing population. And we've all come out of a pandemic, and we know what global scale healthcare issues can entail. So let me share with you some of the excitement of the discipline of chemical engineering and the relevance of that discipline in solving some of these challenges. Let's first take a look at climate change mitigation. One of the big aspects of mitigating climate change is to limit the amount of carbon dioxide that essentially ends up in the atmosphere. Now, if we look around us, all the major solutions that have been proposed from a technology perspective in capturing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere are fundamentally chemical engineering processes. Whether you want to capture carbon dioxide directly from the air, or you want to capture it through membrane-based technologies or adsorption-based technologies, or even very fascinating chemical looping technologies, every single one of those processes is a chemical engineering solution. Now, we chemical engineers are not strangers to global scale impact. In fact, arguably, the biggest technological innovation of the 20th century, which changed the world, was the Haber-Bosch process. This is a chemical engineering process that enabled us to convert the nitrogen from the air into fertilizers that then helps feed billions of people across the globe. And so this is the kind of scale that we talk about as chemical engineers. Now, along with climate change is the increasing need to move towards greener sources of energy, and chemical engineers are leading the march towards this energy transition. So as an example, in Singapore itself, Singapore is home to the world's largest biorefinery that basically uses waste materials, for example, from food sources, to make very high-value fuels such as jet fuels. Now, at the same time, my colleagues in NUS Chemical Engineering are looking at different ways we can harness sunlight, we can harness electricity to make greener fuels that power civilization. Now, let's take a look at population scale challenges, right? Now, indeed, if we look around us, we're surrounded by water, and yet there is a challenge of providing clean, drinkable water to millions of people. Why is that so? It is because the water that surrounds us, nature has mixed it with salt. And unmixing what nature mixes is a hard problem. Chemical engineers are designing very large-scale desalination processes that use technologies like reverse osmosis in order to be able to do just that and provide clean, drinkable water to so many people across the globe. Now, in Singapore itself, colleagues at NUS Chemical Engineering are not just participating in desalination process design and technologies, but also working with public agencies in designing very large-scale processes that help treat municipal wastewater, for example. And finally, I think we've all been together through this global scale pandemic. And the pandemic is an excellent example of the impact that chemical engineers make across the globe. Now, all of us have taken a COVID vaccine, whether it's the Moderna vaccine or the Pfizer vaccine. How many of you know that Moderna was co-founded by one of the world's most famous chemical engineers, Professor Robert Langer? Now, where is this connection, right? So, well, it turns out that from the discovery of the RNA therapeutic that combats the virus, going from there to the actual manufacturing of a vaccine that is stable, administrable, transportable across the globe, and economical, there is a succession of chemical engineering operations that takes us there. And so modern RNA therapeutics are an excellent example of harnessing the combined power of biology with chemical engineering. So with these examples, what I'd like to sort of share is the question, what will you learn in chemical engineering? So in chemical engineering, right, you learn one what question. And that is, what are the key physical, chemical, mathematical, and engineering principles that enable you to design clean, energy efficient, sustainable, and economical processes for chemical or biological transformation of naturally occurring raw materials. And that's one what question. It allows you to answer so many how questions once you're trained in this discipline. How do you capture carbon dioxide to minimize environmental damage? How do you provide plentiful, cheap, and drinkable water? How do you create new materials, devices, drugs, and vaccines that improve the quality of life? How do you minimize gas emissions from vehicles? And surprisingly, how do you create better, smaller, and faster computer chips? Because the manufacturing process of computer chips is a sequence of chemical engineering operations. And finally, we can also look at almost science fiction sounding scenarios with the discipline of chemical engineering. How can you make living on Mars a feasible proposition? That's a question that is rooted deeply in the discipline of chemical engineering. Now, at NUS Chemical Engineering, when you join us right from year one, what we are passionate about is combining both theory and practice, because we strongly believe that that's where the magic lies. So when you enter NUS Chemical Engineering in year one, we sort of introduce you to this mind map of all the intellectual landmarks in chemical engineering. Really important concepts like systems and conservation laws, the art and science of mathematical modeling, the way molecules move, the phenomena of energy in motion, and finally the design of reactors to engineer chemistry. Now, how do we do that? We do that through studio-based instruction. And this is a very novel thing unique to the Department of Chemical Engineering at NUS. We have hands-on chemical engineering in action right from year one. You work closely in groups with students to do experiments and combine theory and practice to learn those big concepts in chemical engineering. Now, these experiments are designed specifically to accomplish a purpose. It is not teaching you to operate one equipment or another. The experiments that we have designed are specifically done to make the concepts come alive through practice. And that is something that we are very passionate about. Now, at the same time, in those year one modules, we also expose our students to this power of combining biology with chemical engineering. So in fact, our students get hand-on experience with the use of biological cells as molecular and pharmaceutical factories. And so right from year one, you're designing bioreactors that enable the conversion of raw materials like sugars with the help of microorganisms into value-added products that ultimately end up in the food sector, in the cosmetic sector, and even in the pharmaceutical sector. Now, with this powerful training in the discipline, the career prospects are very, very diverse. Chemical engineers end up in a very large diversity of sectors, everything from the energy sector to the pharmaceutical sector to foods, to environment, health and safety, to in semiconductors, as I just mentioned. And of course, the power of engineering also prepares you to careers in other sectors such as finance and management and of course scientific research. The curriculum at NUS is really very exciting and really very flexible. And on this slide is just a snapshot of what's possible. So besides your core curriculum in chemical engineering, you can take advantage of numerous specializations, minors, second majors in order to craft your curriculum to suit the career that you think you want. So let's just take an example. If you want a career in the pharmaceutical industry, if you're passionate about making medicines, you can combine your training in chemical engineering with a biopharmaceutical engineering specialization. You could do a minor in the pharmaceutical sciences, and that puts you well in line for a fantastic career in the pharmaceutical industry. And this is just one example out of dozens and dozens that you can craft in a very customized way to suit your passions, your interests, and your career choices. At NUS Chemical Engineering, we are super proud of our alumni who have become leaders in various industry sectors, right from the energy sector to the pharmaceutical sector. We even have ministers of state amongst our alumni. Our alumni network is a wonderful academic family that spans more than 5 decades. And we are really very closely connected to these alumni. We have almost annual gatherings of our alumni, and as entering students in NUS Chemical Engineering, you will be immediately part of this very strong, very tightly connected family. So what I'd like to say is just extend a warm welcome to you to NUS Chemical Engineering. At NUS Chemical Engineering, we're really very proud of our disciplinary strength in both the core and frontier areas that help us solve major challenges facing the globe. We are a group of very passionate teachers. We constantly think about innovating our teaching methods to further engage the newer generations of students, and we shake things up, and we really constantly think about pedagogy. We have very strong industry connections, and those industry connections inform everything that we do. Those industry connections inform the way we teach, they inform the way we do research. We have a wide alumni network that stretches across nearly every industry and public sector you can think of, and it also stretches back across 5 decades. So with that, I'd just like to thank you for your time, and we'd love to see you at NUS Chemical Engineering. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Wen Xin. I'm a final year student in NUS, majoring in chemical engineering. So today, I'll be sharing with you about my entire uni journey. So this is just a slide of how my 4 years actually look like during the whole uni experience. And I know many of you are potential incoming students into NUS, and you might be wondering what courses are out there for me to actually potentially join. And you might be thinking, is chemical engineering just all about engineering, and if I'm actually interested in something else, I don't have the flexibility to explore. But I would say throughout my 4 years journey, you actually get that opportunity too. But let me share with you about my uni experience itself. So actually in year 1, I undertook the normal chemical engineering curriculum together with some other common engineering courses. And definitely with regards to activities that NUS actually provides, NUS actually has a diverse set of CCAs that any student can potentially join. So personally for me, in my year 1, I was helping out in Chemical Engineering Student Society. I was part of the Special Projects Committee, whereby I was helping to plan external industry talks for the cohort itself. And I think personally, I was also interested in management consulting. And you might be thinking, management consulting, oh, that sounds very businessy, and that sounds totally not chemical engineering. But I think in NUS, you are given the opportunity to explore your interests through the different CCAs that NUS actually provides, such as I joined the UNUS consulting group, whereby I really understood a bit more about the management consulting industry, whereby I partook on an actual project with a non-profit group. And with regards to my internship experiences, after year 1, I did an internship with Telenor. It's a telecommunications company. And moving on to year 2. So in year 2, I continued on with my core chemical engineering courses as well as other engineering courses. But I think one thing that I would like to flag out is that the engineering program actually gives you flexibility to explore your interests apart from engineering itself. Maybe if you are interested in a business course, you could be using an unrestricted course to actually explore a business module for you to understand more, maybe a bit about finance, or maybe if you're interested about arts, you could be undertaking a course under the Faculty of Arts itself. And I think with regards to activities, likewise, in year 2, I also started to do a bit more sports. I was playing touch rugby for my residential college. I also started to venture into street dance and started to do a bit more volunteering. And I think one thing to actually highlight is that the chemical engineering curriculum gives you the flexibility to explore internships out of your normal day-to-day school routine. So in year 2, I actually undertook an internship for the whole year. And I think this gave me an opportunity to really see what the other industries are like, such as how is it like in the banks, how is it like in consulting itself. It really gave me an experience to actually expose myself during the whole university curriculum. And moving on to year 3, I went on to, I think one of the biggest highlights of my university experience, I went on to partake in an exchange program, which I'll be highlighting more in the next slide. But I think another thing to note is that NUS, if you're interested in commodity trading, I actually started to venture into the research department in NUS Commodity Society, whereby I was really focusing and looking more into the crude market space. And I was also helping out in the CCA called Isaac, which you can explore once you join NUS itself. And I think one of the biggest internships highlight for me was definitely my summer break in year 3, whereby I joined JP Morgan. It's such a refreshing experience because JP Morgan is one of the biggest investment banks in the world, and being able to get the opportunity to intern with JP Morgan and really see how such a big bank function, I think was a very eye-opening experience for me. And moving on to my final year, so in my final years, in my semester 1, I actually went on to take on the industrial attachment course. So actually you might be thinking, industrial attachment, doesn't it sound like a very engineering-based internship program and you're only restricted to engineering? But I will say no, because I personally went on to do an industrial attachment with BP, and I was on their commodity trading desk. So you might be wondering, well, commodity trading, isn't it very business related? But I would say, likewise, the chemical engineering curriculum actually allows you to explore industries such as commodity trading, definitely the engineering tracks, such as like process engineering, allows you to explore the semiconductor industry, pharmaceuticals industry, and some of my batchmates even went on to like explore like the tech industry. So I would say definitely this industrial attachment course within your curriculum is actually an essential element within the entire chemical engineering curriculum itself. And one thing and I would like to highlight the internship with BP itself, that it was a very eye-opening experience, because in the commodity trading world, you might be thinking, well, this sounds very finance-based. But I would say the chemical engineering program actually builds you and trains you to become and be composed no matter the situation. So I'll be summing up my chemical engineering journey. I would say it's been both enjoyable and insightful, because chemical engineering curriculum actually provides me to be very process-driven in my thinking and to be very logical at all times, but also remaining very calm and very composed in any kind of situation. This is because in chemical engineering, you'll be given a lot of complex problems to solve, but with very, very little time. So you'll be very, very time constrained, but you're supposed to still deliver results. And I would say the program also gave me a very strong global exposure. As I mentioned in my year 3, I went on to take an exchange program in the US, where I was with the University of California, Irvine. And I think through this program, I got to explore a lot of places within the US. It was a 6-month program, and it's a chance whereby you'll never have this experience again, whereby you have 6 months overseas, just living with your friends and just meeting new people, meeting new faces. I met people from Korea, I met people from France, and I would say the friendships that you make in your exchange program tend to be these are like lifelong friends. Whenever you travel, like when my friends travel to Korea, we still meet up with our Korean friends who we met through in exchange. So I would say exchange is a very eye-opening opportunity for any student. So if you get a chance to go for an exchange program in your NUS curriculum, please do so. And so I think this concludes my presentation. Thank you. And I'm open for any questions.
Welcome to Shape Your Future with the Engineering Science Program. I'm Erik Birgersson and the Director of the Engineering Science Program in NUS, ESP in short. Let us start with asking the question, what is engineering science? You've probably heard of mechanical, chemical or electrical engineering before, but perhaps not of the Engineering Science Program. In Singapore, ESP is relatively young. It was launched in April 2006 as a flagship educational initiative at NUS. We are fully accredited by the Engineering Accreditation Board. And in short, the mission of ESP is to train engineering scientists who can solve multidisciplinary problems, develop innovative designs, integrate systems, and work at the interface of disciplines. Our student cohort is around 40 students per year, which provides a more personal education and more interaction with professors in the classroom and labs, as well as outside of class. In the top left figure, you can see students and professors working on a project. In the right top and bottom figures, you can see students and professors mingling at social events that we have, such as the Chinese New Year celebration and our Mid-Autumn barbecue. Alumni and industry are also invited for you to network with at these events. Now, how do we achieve our mission of training multidisciplinary engineering scientists? ESP has a team of academic staff from mechanical, electrical, physics, and material science and engineering, as well as adjunct staff from local agencies and industry. Staff from all around the world. With us have teachers from a range of disciplines. All of us bring with us our own active research areas, experiences, connections, and industrial work. Our student academic staff ratio is around 10:1. In ESP, we offer hands-on, small class, experimental courses and projects together with interdisciplinary core courses in both science and engineering. The theory from the classroom is brought to life in our 4 labs. Now, in the Faraday lab, top left, you can explore and build your own sensors, study buckling of structures and heat transfer. In the design studio, bottom left, you can work on design projects such as efficient air conditioning systems and sensors for energy saving in green buildings. In the multidisciplinary lab, top right, you can fabricate nanostructures with a bottom-up approach by growing small units into larger nanostructures. And finally, in the nanofabrication lab, bottom right, you can build your own lab on a chip and fabricate nanostructures with a top-down approach by breaking down bulk materials into nano-sized structures. In addition to these core courses, ESP offers 4 specializations that allow you to go deeper into your subject of interest. These are nanoscience and technology, where you can work at small scales, for example, fabricating nanodevices, computational engineering science, where you work with AI, robotics, and simulations from atoms to continua, energy science and technology, where you can work on sustainability and renewable energy, and finally, engineering science and medicine, where you can work at the interface of medicine and engineering science, for example, for medical imaging. All of these have a good mix of courses from mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and physics. They are all multidisciplinary. With us, you have lots of choice in designing your own degree. I have here 5 examples. You can see that all 5 pillars share the bottom building blocks of the common curriculum and the ESP major, after which you can start to choose your own path. For example, in the first pillar to the left, you could specialize in engineering science and medicine and add a minor in public health, allowing for a career in medtech industry. In the second pillar, you could specialize in energy science and technology and take a minor in management, which could lead to a career in corporate sustainability. In the third pillar, you could specialize in computational engineering science and add a minor in mathematics, leading to a career in defense. In the fourth pillar I have here, you could choose 2 specializations, for example, energy science and technology and computational engineering science, leading to a career in an energy and automotive industry. Finally, in the last pillar to the right, you could even pick a second major, for example, in statistics, going into a career in data analytics. Moreover, if you're passionate about physics and want to delve deeper into physics, you could choose our double degree program, which will allow you to graduate with 2 honors degrees, one from ESP in the College of Design and Engineering, and 1 degree from physics in the College of Humanities and Sciences. Since the ESP major already features courses from physics, you would be able to double count up to 16 units, making it easier for you to complete both honors degrees. Now, everything you learn in our courses, coupled with our hands-on projects, will allow you to gain both soft and hard skills. And in the figure, you can see a wide range of skills, ranging from engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design of solutions, investigation, modern tools, to communication, project management, and lifelong learning. To ensure that our students achieve these skills, we survey our students when they graduate. In this context, I would like to draw your attention to the green bars, which indicate that graduating students agree or strongly agree that they possess these skills. We continuously tweak our curriculum to ensure that we meet these outcomes. ESP is also part of an international consortium with other engineering science programs around the world, which allows for more opportunities for student enhancement programs. For example, KTH Royal Institute of Technology in Sweden, Osaka University in Japan, and University of Toronto in Canada. Many of our ESP students go on student exchange around the world, as you can see from some of the examples here. We have, for example, students have gone to ETH Zurich, University of Auckland, and Osaka University, to name but a few. In addition, all ESP students do an internship as part of their studies for hands-on working experience, and upon graduation, they find jobs in a wide range of industries and companies. Here you can see a sampling of companies our students have gone to. For example, process engineer at Micron, graduate engineer at ABB, and wind power engineer at Siemens. With the multidisciplinary fundamentals gained through our program, you will be well prepared for a diverse range of career opportunities throughout your lifetime. ESP graduates have also gone for further graduate studies. Here is a sampling of universities our students have gone to for graduate studies, such as a master or PhD. For example, Yale, Harvard University, MIT, and Caltech. Now, if you look at NUS, highlighted in orange to the right, you can see ESP graduates who have done PhDs in biomedical engineering, chemical and biomolecular engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, material science and engineering, as well as physics in NUS. This is where you truly see how multidisciplinary ESP is and how good we are with our fundamentals. The training we give you allows you to go for PhD studies in a range of disciplines. Now, you might wonder how employable are ESP graduates. In this figure, you can see the mean gross monthly starting salary for programs in the College of Design and Engineering, as well as from College of Sciences and Humanities in NUS, from 2020 to 2022. Now, if we focus on ESP, highlighted with the dashed box, we note that ESP graduates have commanded high starting salaries, even having the highest salaries in 2020 among the programs shown here. I also note that in 2022, 100% of our graduates were employed, which demonstrates that our students can find jobs upon graduation. Here are two examples of alumni I thought I could mention. To the left is Rachel Tan. She is now a research assistant at MIT after working at A-Star as a research engineer. And to the right is Raghav Malhotra. He's now vice president of project management at Cleantech Solar. And I vividly recall when Raghav took my course on transport phenomena and energy systems back in 2012, where he gave a 1-hour lecture with a peer on an energy system that was fantastic. And this is the advantage with a small cohort where we have this personal interaction with our students. Let me now summarize why I strongly believe that ESP is a good place to be. You will get strong scientific fundamentals in cutting-edge engineering applications. You will gain hands-on experimental confidence in our labs, working on design projects and assignments. You will be able to work across disciplines with the strong multidisciplinary nature of our program. We are small, around 50 students, allowing for a more personal style of education with educators from different disciplines. Having said that, do not worry that it would be more difficult to apply to us given the small number of students. We are flexible with our intake numbers. Join us if, like us, you're passionate about how things work, science, and using that knowledge to design and build products and applications, engineering, then engineering science is for you. To learn more, you can visit our website. We look forward to seeing you.
Hello, I'm Jaymi Ching, and I'm from the Engineering Science program. I was the president of the 16th Management Committee of the Engineering Science Subclub. I also live in Tembusu College in campus, where the NUS student life is actually pretty amazing. I also specialize in computational engineering science, where we do a lot more computational stuff such as AI, robotics, computer simulations, and many more. I also took a second major in Innovation and Design program, which I'll explain more later on. Another fun fact is that I'm a foreign student here in Singapore, and I'm from the Philippines. So, one of the great things about engineering science is that you get to delve into hands-on projects. And from these hands-on projects, you get to learn more about engineering concepts. For instance, in my first year, we actually built a bridge through a computer simulation. And from here, we get to learn about the different stresses that can happen through nature, through humans, through cars, and many more, and what it means to make our structure as stable as possible to ensure the safety of people. Another thing that we did was that we also simulated the temperature distribution through a mask during the pandemic period to make sure that whoever wears a mask is as comfortable as possible. We also got to do like the scanning tunneling microscope, which is kind of related to quantum mechanics, which we will learn also in year 2. And moreover, we also delved into robotics, such as this line tracing robot, AI search algorithms, and many more. And I think what this really helped me grasp a lot of these engineering concepts through just projects that I and my groupmates made together. Moreover, for my second major in Innovation and Design program, we also built a lot of other projects as well. And I also delved into my year-long project where we, for example, in this picture at the bottom right, we participated in the GNSS Innovation Challenge, and we actually won first place for our attempt of the autonomous food delivery robot. So other than my schooling life, I also got to do an exchange program under the NUS Overseas Colleges, where I got to work in an internship in a startup in Ho Chi Minh City. I worked in Otrofy, which is a software as a service startup, and I worked under the data science team as a software engineer intern. I get to do more AI ML stuff and apply it into the business as well, which is pretty amazing because you get to learn a lot more through just applying whatever you learn. Other than that, I also met a lot of startup founders who are NUS alumni and who are not as well, but who actually started their startup from scratch and who taught us about different things, the different challenges that they have faced, and the tips that they have given us for us who were budding entrepreneurs. So I also met with other people as well from NUS who are also passionate about entrepreneurship. And together we got to ideate a lot more during this program. Other than just doing entrepreneurship stuff, we also got to experience Vietnam as a whole. So with the people who joined me in NOC, we got to travel to different parts of Vietnam, be it Dalat, Da Nang, Hue, and many more. And you can see from these pictures that we experienced so much. We ate so much food, we had met a lot of people from Vietnam and got to learn their local language as well. And it's really amazing, such an amazing experience. And so I really thank NUS for all the lessons that I've learned from engineering science, from IDP, from NOC. And I really do hope that you guys experience the same thing as well. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to the Department of Material Science and Engineering. I'm Associate Professor Dan Blackwood, the Deputy Head for Education in the Department of Material Science and Engineering. So what is material science and engineering? Well, it's actually a mixture of science, physics, chemistry, and biology, and the applied engineering subjects. There's a short video I will now show that explains this in a little bit more detail.
Material science and engineering is all about innovation. It brings together the disciplines of physics, chemistry, biomedical, and engineering to develop completely new materials custom designed for specific roles. For example, material science is playing a vital role in efforts to combat the COVID-19 pandemic through the development of new tools and technologies for antiviral research and treatment development.
Advanced materials like graphene or functional intelligent materials we're working on now offer unprecedented opportunities to reshape our life. At NUS MSc, our students are taught by faculty who are global leaders in their field. You will have access to world-class lab facilities and get hands-on experience with the latest materials technologies. Most importantly, you will learn how to apply them to solve some of the most pressing real-world challenges.
I chose to study MSc because of its focus on developing the materials that make the technologies we use in our everyday lives better, more functional, and more sustainable. The technical knowledge and lab skills that I've gained have enabled me to participate in a number of international competitions. They have also helped me gain an upper hand in my R&D internship at Scorpio Electric, where I did materials analysis and simulation, and at DSO, where I was researching ultra-high temperature ceramics and oxidation protection coating.
At NUS Materials Science and Engineering, we focus on providing an agile education that combines both theoretical and experimental training. You will be exposed to the full range of engineering disciplines, and you will get a chance to specialize in one of our 3 pathways that fit your goals and interests. Our exchange and internship programs, along with a vibrant campus life, will ensure you make the most of your university experience and prepare you for a fulfilling career ahead.
NUS Material Science graduates are highly sought after for their interdisciplinary background and training. Our graduates have gone on to work in a wide range of industries: aerospace, defense, energy, pharmaceuticals, electronics, and the banking industry. Some have even gone on to use their experience to launch their own startup companies.
Many challenges we face in the near future will not be solved without new and better materials. Our commitment to teaching excellence will provide you with the expertise you need to build a career as an innovative future leader in material science and engineering.
So why MSc at NUS? Well, we're a close-knitted community. We only have a small cohort, so we have a good student-to-staff ratio. Each student will be given a mentor to look after them, who will not only advise them on academic issues, but also be able to advise them on any personal issues that you may have during your life at university. We also have a good female-to-male ratio in MSc. We're almost 50-50 in that respect. So it's not a male-dominated subject. We also have strong support for student activities. We have a very strong MSc club. In fact, for some strange reason, we've managed to have 3 international bowlers in our department over the years. We're also the only department where you can learn from a Nobel laureate. No other department in Singapore has a Nobel laureate working in their department. So you may even be able to get to do research under a Nobel laureate. We also have strong partnerships with industry, and we have strong partnerships with the A-Star Research Institutes. And your career progression, as I'll say a little bit later, we are actually the top school in Asia for material science and engineering for employment reputation. We are also one of the top research departments in the university. Every year, there's a list that comes out of highly cited researchers. This year, there was 6,849 worldwide, of which 43 are in NUS, which is a very good percentage when you consider how many universities there are in the world. Of that 43, 3 are in our own department. So that's around 7%, which is very good for such a small department. Furthermore, one of those is our Nobel Prize winner, and he's just started an institute on functionalized intelligent materials. This is a $200 million institute, which is invested by both the government and the university. You can see the fact that the government and university are willing to put $200 million into materials research shows how important it is for the Singapore economy. Our students have also done very well in research. These are some examples of our most recent undergrads. Ian Tay has had a paper published in Advanced Sciences, which is one of the top 1% journals in engineering. Jian Wei has published 3 papers on batteries and energy storage materials in international peer-reviewed journals. And recently, he presented at a conference in Chicago on energy security. And Ian Sim is our first student to be selected for the Duke NUS Medical Scheme, which is a top scheme for the university. He also won the NUS Outstanding Undergraduate Research Prize. Our MSc core courses start with Engineering Principle of Practice 1 and 2, where we actually will get you in the lab and get you hands-on to know what it feels like to work with materials. We then go on to the Principles of Renewable Energy, which is really thermodynamics, but will teach you why you need to learn thermodynamics and how it applies to the real world. We'll then move on to kinetics. Thermodynamics tells you what will happen, but it's kinetics that tells you where something will actually happen. We then will teach you about electronic properties of materials, because the semiconductor industry is still very large in Singapore and it's one of our major employers. We'll then move on to materials characterization, which will be a mixture of lectures and hands-on. Material characterization is one of the fundamental things you need to learn in materials science and engineering, because it tells you what something is made of and where it may have failed as well. We'll then move on to material selection and design, which is another fundamental course that material scientists need to know. What do you actually make something out if you want to use it in an aeroplane, or do you use it in a biomedical application? We're then keen on using machine learning. So there's a machine learning laboratory, and also you will do an integrated project. We have 6 specializations. One is material science for renewable energy and sustainability. There you will learn about things like battery materials, solar cells, but also water harvesting. Obviously in Singapore, water is a very important issue. We then have nanostructured materials and nanotechnology. We came together with the departments of electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, biomedical engineering to have a specialization in robotics. Where we use materials in robotics is things like to give the robot a sense of touch. You need to use something like a piezoelectric material. We also joined together with biomedical engineering to give you a specialization in biomedical materials, where you will take some courses from biomedical engineering and their students will take some of our courses. We also have a specialization in functional intelligent materials, where you will actually learn how to design a material from the bottom up using AI. And then there is a specialization in microelectronic and quantum materials, where we came together with the Department of Electrical and Computing Engineering. From this you can see that materials are fundamental to all the other engineering topics. So we are actually a multidisciplinary subject in ourselves. Then what will you do with your degree? How will you build it up? Well, you have your bottom line, the blue line is the fundamentals, which all the engineering undergraduates will take. On top of that, you build your material science and engineering, and built on top of that, hopefully you will take a specialization. You could take 1 or 2 specializations, or maybe a specialization and a minor, or maybe even a specialization and a second major. You can do a double degree with 1 degree in material science and engineering and the other in business administration. Or you can be the same as Ian Sim. You can do the BEng degree in material science and engineering and a Doctor of Medicine under the Duke NUS program. Or you can do a double major in material science with the second major being innovation and design, or you could actually do that with any other engineering discipline. We just had a student who's doing his second major in electrical and computing engineering. And there's a whole host of different minors that you can use. Amongst the popular ones are data engineering, but you can also do a minor in Japanese. Employment, will you get a job? Well, the answer seems to be yes. Within 6 months, around 93% of our students found some form of employment. And their salaries went up this year. It's about time too, actually. Salaries for engineers have been low for quite a number of years, but they have improved. Our undergraduates got pay rises last year of about 12 to 15%, much better than I got myself. Okay. And what's your career prospects? Well, our students go to work in a wide range of different companies. There's the energy sector. Microelectronics still employs a lot, people like Micron, but a growing area is the aerospace industry. Things like Rolls-Royce, GE has employed people here. Some even go off into banking. They find that the analytical skills that they learnt during their time as engineering are very good for useful in the banking industry. There's some go off to the petrochemical industry. Some go off to work in the research institutes. Then there's some go off to SMRT, so the logistics. Some go in healthcare. There's a number who have been working on COVID applications recently. There's some that go into traditional material science and engineering technology jobs, such as at Capel or Lloyd's Register, and some have all done startups. We've also got our own MSc Study Award. that you can apply for, where we'll pay up to $20,000 for top students that will come to us. For more information on that, you can actually click on the QR code. If you need any more information on either the department or the faculty, please scan these QR codes. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to meeting you in August when you come to join us in the Department of Materials Science and Engineering at NUS.
Hello, I am Yen Sim, and I'm here to share about my choice of Materials Science and Engineering, as well as some of my experiences. This is a bit more about me. I was previously from NUS High School of Mathematics and Science before studying Materials Science and Engineering at NUS. During my time in NUS High, I really enjoyed learning about science and solving problems, and this naturally led me to want to be an engineer. In addition, I had the opportunity to take part in 2 different research projects, which just so happened to be related to chemistry and material science. Hence, this is probably why I chose Material Science and Engineering. I also took up a second major in Innovation and Design and the Engineering Scholars Program to get more opportunities to develop myself as a future researcher and engineer working in the healthcare space. For me, I really enjoyed the various lab-based learning opportunities in MSc as I get to understand the concepts taught in the lectures more deeply through hands-on experimentation and analysis of data. It was very interesting to see how there are so many ways to investigate the properties of all the different materials we use in everyday life, such as metals, ceramics, and plastics, and how we can control these properties to achieve the best results for the various use cases. I also better understand how to conduct research through the lab-based learning, which further drove my passion in research. During my time in NUS, I also found one of the module lecturers, Associate Professor Benjamin T, was doing research on sensors related to healthcare, which was something I really wanted to do in the future. He was really supportive, and I had the pleasure of doing 2 different research projects under him, working with the PhD candidates in his group. In the first project, we looked towards patients with dysphagia or swallowing difficulties. These patients have to undergo what's known as a barium swallow test to monitor their condition, which costs more than 150 Singapore dollars per session. Due to the high cost, some of the patients choose to forego the test, hampering efforts to control their conditions. Hence, we set out to develop a low-cost sensor that could detect the various types of throat movements. In the second project, I learned more about the design aspects of the overall sensors, learning how to create casings to house the various sensitive electronic components through 3D printing, and choosing components to balance the sensitivity of the sensor, consistency of the readings, and comfort for the patient. These projects provided me with a holistic understanding of how to create healthcare products and was a really enriching dive into university-level translational research. I also got a chance to work in an interdisciplinary group consisting of mechanical and biomedical engineers in IDP to work together to solve a clinical problem of knee osteoarthritis. Knee osteoarthritis is a common condition in Singapore, affecting up to 1 in 5 elderly patients. Through the in-depth user thinking processes, the problem we identified was that there was not enough physiotherapists to deal with the high number of patients. After working with the physiotherapists, we created a simple device that will empower them to treat more than 1 patient at a time by helping them to monitor the joint angle of the knee, ensure that the patients are doing the various exercises properly, and highlight any patients that are struggling with the physiotherapy session through an app on a tablet. It was very meaningful for me to see how different people approach the same problem and work together to solve a real-life situation. I was also exposed to other important areas of development like device communication and user interface and experience design. In the end, I feel what really matters the most is to identify what area of study you're interested in and actively seek out opportunities to further your interest and passion for it. However, don't be afraid to look outside your field to learn about all the different things that must come together to make the world tick. Thank you very much for listening, and hope you have gained a better understanding of my journey in NUS MSc. Do scan the QR codes for more information.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope that the presentations earlier have provided valuable insights into our programs and offerings here at NUS CDE. Now, we're moving on into an exciting segment, the panel question and answer session. This is your chance to engage directly with our esteemed panelists and get answers to any burning questions you may have about our programs, curriculum, student life, or anything else related to NUS CDE. So without further ado, let's dive right into the Q&A sessions. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them into our chat box. Our panelists are here to give you all the information you need. So remember, the more questions you ask, the more you'll get out of this session. So don't be shy. Okay, let's start the ball rolling with the first question, maybe more towards the students. How would you describe your personal student life here at NUS CDE? And if you have a lot of CCAs, how would you better manage your time with studies as well? Okay, do you want to start the first question?
Hi everyone, so I'm Wen Xin. I'm a final year chemical engineering student in NUS. I think personally to answer that question with regards to activities in uni, I think personally you just have to explore your personal interests because I think NUS have a very diverse scope of CCAs that they actually offer. I think, yeah, so whatever interest that you have, I'm pretty sure NUS have a CCA for you. And in terms of how do you manage your time in school, personally I think I would say I think basically you should learn to structure your time well. Like for example, when this is time to do your tutorials or maybe it's time to do your homework. I think basically just have proper time management because I think many students have gone through this program and yeah, it should be very possible to actually do it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Hi. Yes. So yes, I'm Jaymi. I'm a final year engineering science student. And I would describe my student life as a place where I discovered whatever I wanted to do and whatever I didn't want to do. And it's quite amazing because I also do stay in a residential college right now, which is Tembusu College, where I got to try different interest groups such as like coffee house or other sports as well. And in NUS, we also have a diverse amount of like CCAs that you can try. So yeah, it's pretty much amazing where I got to meet a lot of new people as well and a lot of different perspectives and cultures. And with regards to, let's say, like time management wise, I think university is a time that is slightly different from like, let's say, JC, junior college, or back then where everything all depends on like one examination. University is a time where you have like cumulative amount of assessments. And I think one of the things that you have to make sure you do in uni is to be able to allot time to do your schoolwork, but at the same time also give yourself some time for breaks as well. So yeah, I think that's something you can do. You can also have like a Google Calendar or something that you can like put your schedule in so that it's easier for you to remember the things that you have to do.
Okay, now for Agatha, our BME president.
Hi, yeah, so I'm Agatha, second year student, and I'm also the president of the BME club. So for me, my student life is not as diverse. Basically, I only joined BME club, and that's my only club or like CCA. But I think it's also been able to give me like a diverse experience because we're able to organize different activities for different times within the year. So like we have welfare pack distribution towards the end of like towards the final season, and then we also have freshman camp orientations for the club. So this actually for the entire BME. So I think throughout the semester itself, my student life experience is still mostly academics, but you can, like what was mentioned earlier, you can actually join many different like clubs and activities, like sports, CCAs, or just like clubs that are not even just for your major in particular. Yeah, and CDE also. CDE is a club on its own. They have which is something that you can join. So it's not for your own major, but it's for the entire engineering and design faculty.
Okay, moving on to Ian. Would you like to share some?
Yeah, so for myself, I mainly do a lot of research with my the research groups. For example, Benty's research group, and for me, it really helped me to really pursue my passion for material science as well as like academia in general. And I think like you don't really have to join a lot of student groups to pursue your interest. If that's not what you're interested in, there are probably a lot of other ways to find your own interests within academics itself. And as for me, how I manage my time, I think I echo the sentiments of the other presenters as well. It's all about time management and like doing things proactively rather than waiting until the last minute.
Thank you so much, students. That was insightful sharing, and I personally relate to most of what you have said. Now let's move on to the profs. So, first question for chemical engineering that we have from Jacinta for Prof. Saif would be, can I do a primary major in chemical engineering and a second major in chemistry? Or how about vice versa?
Thank you for that question. Yes, you can certainly do a primary major in chemical engineering and then a second major in chemistry. Vice versa is not possible at the present moment. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Saif. For Prof. Erik, is there any specific jobs for engineering science students? Could you elaborate on them as well? Thank you.
I think for that question, I showed a couple of companies during the presentation itself, but most important is that if you go to engineering science program, you really learn the fundamentals in mechanical, electrical, physics, and some materials as well, which it opens up the job market for you. So you can pick more traditional mechanical engineering jobs or more electrical. But most importantly, I think you can work across disciplines. So you can communicate with electrical engineers and mechanical engineers in a way that I think makes engineering science students unique. So I don't want to give any specific companies or jobs, but all I want to say is there's a wide range of companies that you can look at when you're done.
Thank you, Prof. For Prof. Raye, we have a question regarding biomedical engineering from Jamal Hassan. How does a BME engineering as a major prepare me for a medical degree in the future?
Thanks for the question. So the biomedical engineering, as we know, is a pretty unique discipline where our students really get in touch or work with clinicians as early as year one, right? So this is where they start to know how clinician works, okay? And then, also get to know what are the different specialties in the medical field. There are over 30 different specialties. And some students work on projects related to those specialties that includes orthopedic, neuroscience, oncology, right? And this is where they get experience, okay, in research projects, and that, when they put it up for application into NUS, that helps a lot in their application subsequently.
Thank you, Prof. Raye. Moving on to Prof. Daniel, we have an interesting question from Joachim Chia. I heard that both NUS and NTU material engineering are one of the best in the world. So what distinguishes NUS programs from NTU?
Okay, that's quite a tough question because nobody wants anything bad about our competition. One thing, perhaps there's a lot of this on rankings. From an undergraduate point of view, maybe the most important ranking is employer reputation. And NUS, we are #1 for employer reputation in the whole of Asia. So obviously the top one in Singapore. But I would also say perhaps a very important thing about NUS as a whole is we're a comprehensive university. So while you're here, you can actually network with people from law, social sciences, and arts. And these network will actually be with you throughout your entire life, particularly as most of the graduates stay within Singapore. And probably your networking ability here is important as the technical knowledge. So I would say that it's the fact that NUS is a comprehensive university which really distinguishes us from any of the other universities in Singapore.
Thank you, Prof. We have one more question. I have a profound interest in sustainability, but have a difficult time deciding between chemical engineering and material engineering. So how would we better help this student decide? Maybe Prof. Saif and the Prof can take note, yeah.
Sure, that's a really great question, right? And because both chemical engineers and material engineers are playing a part in all sorts of applications related to sustainability. So the real question is, what are you interested in, right? Now, for example, from a chemical engineering perspective, are you interested in putting together processes that, for example, capture carbon dioxide, convert it into something valuable? So put together large-scale processes that enable these kinds of transformations. Perhaps chemical engineering is the choice for you. But there are many places where our disciplines intersect. So it really, really depends on what you would like to focus on. So I think I'll pass the time to Professor Blackwood as well for his comment.
It is really what you're interested in. And it sort of matters that you know a little bit about both. Yeah. My own area is in corrosion, so maybe you'd end up working in a team. In one of my lectures, I talk about whether we have laminar flow or turbulent flow. The chemical engineers want turbulent flow because it helps with the heat transfer. I want to avoid it because it makes it corrode. So if you know about the properties of materials, the two of you can come together and have a good compromise. So really, it's useful to know a little bit about both, and then you can end up working in a good team. And understanding each other's language is important. Okay.
Thank you, Prof. Maybe another question regarding engineering science for Prof. Erik would be, is there any specializations that students can take for engineering science?
Yeah, for engineering science, we have 4 specializations. So if you're interested in materials, we heard a little bit about materials right now. You could go into our nano specialization. If you're interested in sustainability, we have a energy systems and technology specialization where many of our courses are specifically geared towards sustainability in the relation with energy systems. We also have a computational specialization where you can go into robotics, AI. You can also do programming, so coding, simulations, and I like to call it from the level of atoms all the way up to continua the flow. We heard a little bit about turbulent flow just now, so that's something that you could simulate. And our 4th specialization is in medicine. And in particular, where we stand out, I believe, is our focus on imaging in medicine, with a number of courses from physics in optics, for example. So those are the 4 specializations you can take with us in engineering science program.
Thank you, Prof. Erik. Prof. Raye, you're looking a little quiet, so maybe we should ask you a question. For biomedical engineering, what are the possible career aspects besides the Duke NUS pathway?
Apart from the Duke NUS pathway, definitely there are a lot of industry-related careers that our students are in. So for instance, working in hospitals as engineers, working in research institutes as research engineers, or even in MNCs as quality engineers or project or product or design engineers. Okay, so there's a range of engineering scope for many of our graduates. Okay, we also have some of our alumni going into more specialized areas like regulatory affairs. You need all your medical devices to be regulated before they can be used on patients, right? We also have students working into IP related to biomedical technology, and then we also have a handful of students who went out to develop their own startups, moving into entrepreneurship, bring their technology to market. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Raye. It seems like there are not many other questions left, so let's wrap up the Q&A segment. However, if you have any further questions or would like to delve deeper into our programs, I encourage you to visit our NUS website and also join our Telegram channels. There you'll find a wealth of information to satisfy your curiosity. Now, I'll be passing on the time to Derek, who would be doing the closing address. Derek, please.